Good morning everyone. Today I am going to present on somatoform pain disorder. On this topic, I would like to say something like we often come across the patients in psychiatry department with multiple site pain in body, with complaints of lethargy, pain in body, and we often we often diagnose them with a somatoform pain disorder. But is that enough? Is that enough to diagnose the patient coming for pain symptoms frequently? Are we satisfied by that diagnosis or not? Are we going to approach for further causes about it, and what other organic causes might be there, we might be missing? So we are going to deal today about that. Objectives would be, is diagnosing somatoform pain disorder enough, and causes underlying it, what can be causes underlying it. Contents are introduction, what is somatoform pain disorder, and diagnostic criteria as per DSM-5, and causes to be ruled out, and fibromyalgia, which we come across frequently in patients with pain in various regions of the body. What is somatoform disorder? It is also known as somatic symptom disorder. It is a group of disorder in which people experience significant somatic symptoms with no apparent organic cause found, and we specify with predominant pain, persistent pain, and with clinical severity, mild, moderate, or severe. Diagnostic criteria for somatoform pain disorder is one or more somatic symptoms that is distressing and impairing daily life, and excessive thoughts, feelings, behavior related to symptomatic complaint, and that those are disproportionate and persistent thoughts about one's symptom must be present to diagnose somatoform pain disorder, and persistently high anxiety regarding health or symptoms. The patient has high anxiety regarding those symptoms, and excessive time and energy are spent in those concerns. So when we diagnose in those conditions, we diagnose as a somatoform pain disorder, and duration must be more than 6 month period. And we often come across in internal medicine somatic symptoms disorder as chronic fatigue symptoms. We often come across in gynecology chronic pelvic pain, in ENT idiopathic tinnitus, in dentistry temporomandibular dysfunction, and in rheumatology we come across fibromyalgia, and in GI irritable bowel syndrome, in neurology non-epileptic seizures, that is psychogenic non-epileptic seizures we usually come across, that is convulsion disorder. Now medical conditions that needs to be ruled out are acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, that is AIDS, HIV AIDS, that should be ruled out, and endocrinopathy should be ruled out, myasthenia gravis should be ruled out, multiple sclerosis should be ruled out, and degenerative disease of nervous system, and systemic lupus erythematosus, and occult neoplastic disorders that might be present in patients. We should rule out this condition. Now coming to AIDS, patients often have multiple system complaints and unexplained weight loss. A risk factor being history of IV drug use, abuse, unsafe sexual contact, and blood products are mainly the causes for HIV/AIDS. Now coming to endocrinopathies, endocrinopathies produce symptoms that are indistinguishable from psychiatric illnesses. We often come across thyroid disorders like hypothyroidism, in which there is persistent depressive symptoms, and with lethargy, with bodily pains, and hypothyroidism with palpitation, tremor, anxiety can be present there, and on parathyroid gland dysfunction can also be there. in patients with multiple somatic complaints. And adrenal gland dysfunction like hypocortisolism, that is Cushing syndrome, might be there, and hypercortisolism, that is Addison disease, might be there. And pituitary gland like hyperprolactinemia might be there, and which might mimic some multiple somatic complaints like headache or other bodily parts pain might be there in cases of pituitary gland dysfunction. Now coming to myasthenia gravis. Myasthenia means muscle and gravis means serious, grave, serious. An autoimmune disease affecting skeletal muscles. It is an autoimmune disease affecting skeletal muscles and extraocular muscles that control eye movements, and that leads to ptosis and diplopia. And during wake up, patient feels fine, but at the end of the day, gradually the patient feel weak, and it is resulting due to sometimes from repetitive movements while chopping vegetables or doing other works. They have weakness, and in this case they might have some cramps or weakness in the patients with ptosis, and they might also come across with multiple vague somatic symptoms as well. Now coming to multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is the autoimmune disease affecting the myelin sheath of central nervous system. There is a degeneration of myelin sheath in central nervous system, in cerebrum, in brain and spinal cord. And main symptoms of multiple sclerosis is there is a fatigue, cognitive dysfunction, depression, anxiety they come across with, an unstable mood, and musculoskeletal pain, weakness, spasm, ataxia might be present, optic neuritis might be present, nystagmus might be present, dysarthria can be there, bowel and bladder involvement like incontinence, diarrhea or constipation, and frequency of retention of urine can also be there. And when to diagnose multiple sclerosis? McDonald's criteria is this: attacks more than 2 and clinical signs more than 2. There is no need of additional data is needed for those kind of things. And when there is attack more than 2 and clinical sign is present 1, demonstration dissemination in space, that is MRI finding, should be present, and further clinical attack in a different site should be present. And attacks 1 and clinical signs more than 2, demonstration of dissemination in time, that is in different time there is a different MRI picture. And second clinical attack and positive CSF finding, that is mononuclear pleocytosis must be present. And attacks 1 and clinical sign 1 demonstrate dissemination in space and time, that is in both new space as well as in different time, that there should be demonstrable lesion in MRI. And insidious neurological progression suggestive of primary progressive MS is present when 1 year disease progression and 2 of the following is present: 1 or more titillation, that is cortical, juxtacortical, and periventricular or infratentricular lesion should be present, and 2 more titillation in cord, spinal cord should be there, and positive CSS findings should be there. Now coming to degenerative disease of nervous system, it includes Alzheimer's disease, that is there is a frontoparietal cortical atrophy, and Parkinson's disease, there is a degeneration in substantia nigra leading to tremors, bradykinesia, and Huntington disease, that is the atrophy of caudate lobe of basal ganglia, and multiple sclerosis, that is a degenerative autoimmune disease affecting multiple system. And systemic lupus erythematosus, that is often we come across in such patient with multiple vague somatic complaints with joint pains, sensitivity to sun, recurrent mouth ulcer, hair loss, joint pain, loss of appetite and weight loss, fever, fatigue, butterfly shaped rash on cheeks. We need to think about systemic lupus erythematosus. And most of all, we need to think about occult neoplastic disorder in cases of chronic pain, not substanding, somatic complaint can be present. We can give, which can give picture like of somatoform disorder as well. And some of the risk factors are elderly patients, smoking tobacco, use of tobacco, that might cause small cell lung cancer or other kind of cancerous condition, chemical exposure, sun exposure, radiation exposure should be ruled out and should be known and should be taken care of, or risk factors. And paraneoplastic syndrome might be present in those patients, like endocrinal causes like hypoglycemia, hypercalcemia, carcinoid syndrome like diarrhea and flushing, and Cushing syndrome might be present in or endocrine condition of paraneoplastic syndrome. Hyperaldosteronism and SIADS might be present. And neurologically, paraneoplastic syndrome presents as a Lambert-Eaton myasthenic syndromes, paraneoplastic cerebral degeneration and others, and dermatological conditions like dermatomyositis, acanthosis, migraines might be present. And hematological DIC, non-bacterial thrombotic endocarditis, polycythemia might be present, and others further paraneoplastic syndrome can be present. So these paraneoplastic syndromes, if present, we are going to suspect that there is some kind of a neoplastic condition in the patient, that they are secreting some hormones, or they are causing some neurological deficits, they are causing some dermatological manifestation or hematological manifestation. Now coming to fibromyalgia. There is a generalized pain in 4 or more 5 regions is present, and symptoms have occurred at a similar length for more than 3 months of period, and widespread pain index should be more than 7, and symptom severity scale should be more than equal to 5, or widespread pain index or a symptom severity scale should be more than 9 should be present. And trigger points in fibromyalgia are in subaroccipital region. There is an insertion of trapezius and base of skull. In those sides there is a pain, and in neck and shoulder region there is pain. Lower neck in front there is pain. Below and side at bone at elbow there is pain, and just above knee on inside there is pain, and tenderness is present on palpation as well in such patients. And fibromyalgia is treated with pain modulators usually, and there is no obvious blood markers present for fibromyalgia, but there is a vague symptomatic complaint in patients with fibromyalgia with widespread pain index greater than 7 in patients with fibromyalgia. So that much is for today. Take home message is that we need to search for underlying organic cause in cases with persistent pain before labeling them as a somatoform pain disorder, and fibromyalgia should not be overlooked. And other causes like SLE, multiple sclerosis, myasthenia should be ruled out before we come to conclusion as patients having somatoform pain disorder. And we come across somatoform pain disorder only when they have excessive anxiety regarding the illness, health related factors, and they spend lots of time and energy spent on those health related symptoms only when we diagnose them with a somatoform pain disorder. So thank you very much for your kind attentive listening. Thank you very much.